Alaska, a vast remote expanse at the northern edge of the Western Hemisphere. Its landscape, a striking blend of towering mountains, boreal forests, and unforgiving tundra, stretches for miles upon miles, shaping a land of extremes. Isolated from major urban centers and sparsely populated, this region exists beyond the gaze of the world, where the events of daily life often go unnoticed. Alaska and its towns rarely make international headlines, except in extraordinary circumstances, natural disasters, major geopolitical events. This relative absence from the media has fostered an image of untouched wilderness, a place where life moves at a rhythm far removed from the bustling pace of the modern world. But this perception, while not entirely false, is incomplete. It overlooks something crucial: the existence of strange and unexplainable occurrences that, were it not for the accounts of those who call this land home, would remain unknown to most. History has left a void where these events should be. For generations, the lack of thorough documentation, and until recent years, the absence of widespread media, allowed the world to imagine Alaska as nothing more than a remote, uncomplicated frontier. The stories you are about to read shed light on the peculiarities hidden among its frozen peaks and the deep, shadowed forests that shroud this vast northern land. The skies over Alaska offer a spectacle of breathtaking scale, whether viewed from its cities or across the state's vast rural expanses. In remote areas where light pollution is scarce, the night sky unfolds in unobstructed clarity. Meanwhile, the region's unique atmospheric dynamics give rise to towering cloud formations, sculpted by frigid Arctic air currents, colliding with the warmer masses drifting in from the Pacific Ocean. However, during certain times of the year, particularly in autumn, as seasonal storms begin to roll in, some observations suggest the presence of unusual cloud formations. In these periods, overcast skies and atmospheric turbulence have given way to reports of silhouettes and structures that seem to stand out from the usual patterns. While many dismiss these anomalies as nothing more than meteorological irregularities shaped by water vapor condensing under specific pressure and temperature conditions, photographic evidence captured by various witnesses hints at something more complex than what first meets the eye. It was particularly during the early 2000s that most of these sightings were recorded with greater frequency. Advances in imaging technology, along with the widespread availability of digital cameras, made it easier to gather visual evidence, allowing for a more detailed analysis of these atmospheric anomalies. Images captured from various locations across the state revealed recurring patterns in the structure and arrangement of these figures, sparking interest among researchers and weather enthusiasts seeking scientific explanations. Unfortunately, in recent years, no new occurrences of these phenomena have been reported, leading some to speculate that the figures may have been experimental tests of classified weaponry. Known locally as the footprints, a phenomenon documented in the small city of Fairbanks during the 1990s, became the subject of numerous investigations and reports from residents. It involved the repeated appearance of enormous puddles of a dark, viscous liquid, surprisingly odorless, discovered at dawn in various suburban areas. These deposits often spread across large surfaces near homes, roads, and parks. In some instances, the substance seeped into the basements of houses, creating a major issue for homeowners, as removing it proved exceptionally difficult. Any attempt at conventional cleaning failed. The material adhered stubbornly to surfaces and resisted even the strongest industrial solvents. Preliminary analyses conducted by local laboratories failed to precisely identify the chemical composition of the liquid. However, more in-depth studies revealed that it was a complex petrochemical alloy, exhibiting an unusual geometric alteration in the angular arrangement of its molecules, an anomaly that directly contradicted the accepted theories of organic chemistry at the time. Alongside the appearance of these puddles, security cameras installed in parks and wooded areas on the outskirts of town captured images of enigmatic moving formations at night. These structures, seemingly emerging from the ground or shifting in ways inconsistent with any known fauna, possessed appendages of unusual proportions. Their size and the depth of the imprints they left in the soil led researchers to suspect a possible connection between their movements and the distribution patterns of the viscous liquid. In several locations where these large footprints were documented, the mysterious substance appeared in higher concentrations, as if it had been deposited in the wake of these entities' passage. For years, ghostly apparitions have been a recurring theme in folklore and online discussions. Most of these stories, however, stem from isolated incidents where suggestion, misperception, or the repetition of well-worn myths play a significant role in their spread. Yet, some cases, due to the level of documentation and the number of witnesses involved, stand apart, gaining a peculiar status within paranormal studies. Among them is the unusual yet brief wave of sightings that took place in September 2008 in Nickfair, a community north of Anchorage. Unlike traditional cases, which typically involve sporadic sightings in specific homes, the Nickfair event had a significantly larger scale, with multiple witnesses reporting shadowy figures both inside their homes and in open spaces. Descriptions consistently pointed to dark human-like silhouettes that appeared to observe residents before suddenly vanishing or swiftly retreating into nearby wooded areas. This pattern persisted throughout the month, allowing local residents not only to exchange accounts of their experiences, but also to attempt capturing the apparition on photographs and video. Initially, the prevailing hypothesis was that these were individuals dressed in black, possibly linked to criminal activity, prompting local authorities to launch surveillance and investigation efforts. For several nights, the police patrolled the area with the intent of intercepting the suspected intruders. However, official reports indicated that no suspects were identified and no evidence of criminal activity was found. As weeks went by, the lack of logical explanations and the persistence of witness accounts shifted the case into more enigmatic territory. Though many of the visual recordings were blurry or of questionable quality, the recurring nature of the phenomenon across various locations in the town strengthened its credibility among the residents. The event, despite its intensity, did not continue in the following years. No new manifestations of a similar nature have been documented in Nickfair with the same level of detail or comparable frequency. However, one of the more widely circulated interpretations links the phenomenon to the construction of a military base situated approximately 100 miles to the north. According to this theory, activity at the base may have caused disturbances in the behavior of the local wildlife, prompting massive migrations of birds, insects, and mammals to the south. While this is a verifiable fact within certain environmental records, some speculated that the shadowy figures seen in Nickfair were not merely spectral entities, but were also responding to a flight instinct triggered by an unknown phenomenon. In the small town of Fritz Creek, hidden among dense forests and little-traveled roads, stands one of the most enigmatic buildings in Alaska. It is a large, dark wooden residence built in 1950 by commission from a wealthy family from Oregon. The original intent of the owners was to create a retreat away from the bustle of the cities, a peaceful natural setting where their young children could grow up free from the noise and dangers of urban life. For its first few years, the house served its purpose without any apparent incidents, becoming a recurring vacation destination for the family. However, in 1954, the property became the scene of a macabre event that would mark it forever. On the third floor of the residence, the police discovered the lifeless bodies of all the family members. Each one had been hung from the ceiling, arranged in a meticulously organized position on a small altar of black candles. The scene bore no resemblance to a conventional crime or a simple case of domestic violence. There were no signs of theft, nor were there any indications that the family had enemies or known conflicts. From the very beginning, the arrangement of the bodies and the elements present at the scene suggested a ritualistic act, though authorities never managed to clarify the motives or identify potential perpetrators. Over time, the tragedy gave way to speculation and fear, solidifying the house's reputation as a cursed place. Decades later, in 2002, the mystery surrounding the Wilson residence took a new turn. Holly and Karen Kovalenko, two sisters aged 13 and 16, were reported missing after a camping trip with their father on the outskirts of Fritz Creek. For several days, authorities conducted extensive searches of the area with no concrete results, until a patrol decided to inspect the old abandoned house. What they found inside was utterly baffling. In the attic and upper floors, human remains were found in an advanced state of decomposition, unrecognizable to the naked eye. After genetic testing, it was confirmed that the bodies belonged to the Kovalenko sisters. Initially, suspicions fell on the father of the girls, who was arrested and questioned under the hypothesis of a family crime. However, as the forensic investigation progressed, disturbing details emerged that dismissed this possibility. The fingerprints and other traces found at the scene did not match those of the father. But the most unsettling discovery was the emergence of an unexpected pattern. The post-mortem manipulations on the bodies of the Kovalenko sisters reflected the same characteristics seen in the bodies of the Wilson family nearly 50 years earlier. The similarity between both cases suggested the involvement of the same perpetrators, or at least individuals replicating the methods used in the original crime with striking accuracy.